Right now, we're going to talk about Be the Change. You know, the school shootings remain top of the news, and calls for gun control, calls for something to be done. And, well, there's a group in Marshall that is going to do something, and they have a big event coming up this Sunday in Marshall at the Backroad Saloon. And Jeff Taylor is behind it. And good morning to you, Jeff. It's nice to see you today.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Be the Change. Is this something that's happening all over the place, and you kind of grabbed onto it and put our own stamp on it locally? Or
No, I actually came up with it, and I have big goals and aspirations for what I want to do. This is just the beginning of it, but I mean, I'd love to see it go nationwide.
Yeah. You are a musician.
Yes.
And so you've rounded up, I don't know how many bands, a dozen bands or something.
Yeah, we have 13 bands total.
Holy cow. Well, tell us a little bit about yourself, your band, what do you do, and then we'll get a little bit more into the issue.
Okay. I'm a union sheet metal worker for Mahoney out of Kalamazoo. I've been playing music my entire life. Grew up playing music in the church with my family. I'm a drummer, and my uncle is Paul Rogers, and he got me involved in playing with bands, and he's a drummer with Chameleon, but he slid over and learned acoustic guitar and gave me an opportunity to be in the band with Erica Sherry. So I've been the drummer for Erica Sherry for a couple years, and got to really know a lot of musicians, and that family is really close-knit. They do a lot for the community and for each other.
Yeah. Well, how would you characterize Erica Sherry? What's that band about?
We're a variety band. We do anything from country to Stevie Wonder, Bruno Mars. We just kind of just do kind of whatever the crowd's there for. We're very versatile. I've had a good time playing with that band, and we do a pretty busy band, so we stay pretty busy.
Why the drums? Why did you gravitate toward playing the drums?
You know, I don't know. Maybe because the guitars hurt my fingers. I couldn't.
I relate. I remember.
Yeah, I couldn't. I gave that a go and just couldn't do it. But my entire family's very much into music, and my mom can pick up any instrument there is and play it. And my brothers are the same way, and drums just kind of came natural to me.
Well, that's great. Now, you said 13 bands, and that's this Sunday, starting at 1 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
Be the Change. And tell us, at Backroad Saloon, where is that?
It's just off 69. If you go south off 94, it's the first exit there, Marshall, Michigan Avenue. You just take a right if you're heading south, and it's right there on the right. You can't miss it.
So some people know it as the Mac Center.
The Mac Center, correct.
I see. Okay. And so that's where it's going to be. That's a big building. That's pretty good size in there.
It's an awesome venue. I'm very grateful to Kristen for opening her doors for this, and she's been totally on board and excited for it, and wants to make this an annual event for this particular event, which is awesome.
So it's a big room in there. How are you going to set it up?
Well, we got lots of different vendors that are coming to donate their time, face painting, lots of stuff being raffled off, and we got a lot of space. So I'm going to go there tonight and do kind of a walkthrough and try to get that all figured out.
13 bands, that's something to coordinate, huh?
Yeah.
My goodness. Well, before we get into who the bands are and some of the speakers that are on hand, let's talk a little bit more about the issue. Be the change. You know, everybody wants change. Nobody wants these school shootings to continue, of course, and a lot of people are very troubled by it right now. Your take on it is we maybe need to approach it a little differently than some people are saying we should.
Yeah. I don't know. I've been bothered for a while, obviously, by just the shootings. But I started asking myself, why is this happening? I mean, everybody wants to, and this event, keep in mind, is not a gun control event. It's not a political event. It's not a debate. It's just my view and how I'm looking at it. And there's something deeper than the weapon that's being used. And it's always, we need to give these people more guns to protect these people, or we need to take guns completely away. I've never hunted in my life. I've never owned a gun, and I'm completely neutral on the gun. That to me is just not the issue. It's just the weapon of choice. And if there were no guns in this world, there would be some other way that these kids would be doing this.
Bombs like in Austin, or knives, a lot of different ways.
Yeah, so I'm looking at the hurt and the pain that these kids get to the point where they are so low in life that they just want to give up on everything and decide to go do this and take innocent lives. And basically when they decide to do that, they're taking their own life too, because either they're going to go to prison the rest of their life, or they're going to get killed, or they kill themselves. And it's not only about this, teenage suicide. And to me, I think the root of the problem, not in all cases, but a very high majority, is the bullying that we see in our schools and in our teenagers nowadays. It's not like it was when, 25 years ago when we were in school. The social media has gotten so bad where they've even created apps where you can bully kids anonymously. And it's just a shame, and people don't realize that when you continue to make a person an outcast and you continue to bully them, and that it's a slow fade. The first day or two it might be okay, but after a year, after 2 years, these kids, it's all they know. These are the only problems they know. They don't know bills, mortgages, marriage, relationships. All they know is this school and the relationships they have at school. And if they feel like they can't go to school because they're getting picked on, and they can't even go home and get on their phone without seeing somebody making fun of them, that can be really, really bad.
They know where to go in their own life. They don't care anymore, and so all there might be is anger.
Yeah, and there's a couple things. I think media. I think when you're bullied, and you're considered an outcast, and you can't get into the in crowd. I think maybe, and this is just my opinion, but I think maybe these kids, this is their way to get national exposure. This is the way to finally get noticed. Mm-hmm. They've tried everything else, and they've exhausted all options. Hey, I go in there and I do something to this school, my name's going to be everywhere. And maybe that's what they've longed for their whole life, and nobody gave them a chance because maybe they had a stutter problem, or maybe they were a little overweight, or maybe they weren't a great athlete, or maybe their IQ wasn't that high, and they were just a little different.
We had this incident in Paw Paw,
mm-hmm.
just this week, where they stopped it. The parents realized something was going on. They called police. Police intervened. Nothing terrible happened, but the teen's parents told TV8 that he had been bullied since coming to the district last year, and that things got worse after a photo of the teen in his underwear taken last summer somehow began to circulate among his fellow students. The stepfather said, quote, "Since that point, it's just been relentless."
Mm-hmm.
The stepfather said the bullies, quote, "shoved him into lockers, punched him in the throat, and knocked him down with no remorse." Mm-hmm. Exactly what you were just saying, highlighted, 30 miles down the road from us.
Yeah. It's so sad to me. I don't understand it. I really don't. And part of my directions to parents. I'm not questioning the love that parents have for their kids, because I know that goes without saying. But I am questioning the speed of life of today's world, and the fact that maybe we don't see, including myself. This has been a look in the mirror time for myself too. But we don't see the hurt and the pain that our kids may be going through because, one, we really know that 10 years from now, they may not even remember it. And it's not, but the thing is we have to look at it like it's a true problem and it's true hurt and they're really truly going through something because even though, like I said before, it's not mortgages, it's not the real, struggles of this world that adults go through. It's the only pain and the only problems that these kids know at this particular time.
We all think back to our time in high school when these things arise, and I have a lot lately too, and bullying and this kind of ostracizing, nothing new, but what is new, and you've touched on it, social media, also probably the predominance of violence in video games. Maybe some people are desensitized to it. It kind of all amplifies it. It's almost like, before we were playing with an acoustic instrument, and now we've got gigantic Marshall amps.
Right.
And we are just amplifying the hurt and the pain for these kids to the point where they do terrible things. So I applaud you for putting on an event to hopefully shine a spotlight on this and maybe get some people in the community, especially young people, thinking about these things the next time they post something on social media about somebody, one of their classmates. When we come back, Jeff, I want to find out more about the event. I know you've got some really cool prizes, the Pistons jerseys and the like, and stuff like that. And the bands, will talk about that when we come back. The event is Be the Change. It is this Sunday from 1 to 9 at Backroad Saloon, basically right there at the intersection of I-69 and Michigan Avenue in Marshall. Jeff, we talked about the story just before the top of the hour about out in Maryland yesterday. There was another potential massacre that was stopped because, one of the trained officers at the school was able to put a stop to it and stop that gunman. Only 2 people were shot. They may both pull through. But you had a thought about, that kind of thing that kind of ties into your event.
Yeah. I just got to thinking about it, and it is a great thing that man was able to do. I'm sure he saved a lot of lives, and it's good that he was put in that situation, and I'm not opposed at all to being prepared. But so many people and so many articles all they want to talk about is the hero. And to me, I see another 17-year-old boy dead. I see another son gone. I see another potential brother gone, a nephew gone. And I just feel with this, if we're just going to dwell on the guns and that's all we're going to dwell on and who has them, basically that's a war with the kids. So let's just go to, we're just going to be prepared to go to war with the kids. That's not going to fix any problem. And I look at it as if you mow your grass and, you have some weeds sticking out. Yeah, you can mow over the weeds and for a while your grass is going to look good.
Yeah.
But after a while, another broken kid, another hurt kid, another kid that feels like life is just too tough and he's going to sprout up through that grass again. And the only way for us to really, really, truly help him and to fix this problem is for us parents and adults and leaders of our communities and of this nation to get on our hands and knees in the dirt and reach down in the dirt and pull that weed from the root.
Yeah, I like that. The real hero would be a classmate who says, I saw that post about so-and-so. Don't do that anymore. You should take that down immediately and go apologize to that kid. We can't do this anymore.
Right.
I don't know if they will. Kids will be kids, but, we can't lean on that excuse anymore.
Yeah.
Our kids need to step up, and they need to say enough is enough. We can stop this, not with gun control or other measures, but by just being nicer and being civil to one another. And, we all know how civility has suffered in the social media era.
Yeah.
That's the scariest part. Let's, in the time we have left, Jeff, let's talk about the event. You mentioned 13 bands. Tell us who they are, and maybe we recognize some of those bands. By the way, you got a Facebook page. We can check all this out.
Yeah. You want me to just go right down the lineup?
Yeah, why don't you just run down the lineup of bands?
All right, we have a couple solo acts and then mostly bands, but at 1 o'clock we're going to have Tyler Roy. He's a solo act out of Kalamazoo area, I believe. And then 1:25, and these times are kind of overlapping, and we're kind of just hoping we've got free reign to end it when we want from Backroads, which is great. But Crazy Mike is coming on at 1:25. These are going to be 30-minute sets. 1:25, Crazy Mike comes on. They're from Kalamazoo area, and that's actually the first band I played with. So Don Keegan, and they're a good band. And then our first speaker of the day will be Eddie LeBeau, and he's from, I think, Gobles, possibly, Kalamazoo area. And then 2:05, we got Allie Garland. She's a young little superstar.
Yeah, I've heard of her.
Yeah, I like her a lot, so she'll be performing. And then we got Katie Breslin at 2:35 speaking, and she does the brushes with benefits. She's doing a kind of jumped on, and they're doing those paintings with the wine, and they're painting Be the Change pictures, and it's all going to be displayed at the event. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
And then the Shining Sun Band at 2:45. I'm not sure where they're from, this area somewhere. Then 3:15, we have James Callahan. He's my business agent for the sheet metal workers. He's done an awful lot sponsor-wise for us to help us get the shirts, and I'm very grateful. And then 3:25, we got Celestina Y. Los Sanchez, and she's really, really good. I'm sorry if I messed that up. 3:55, we got Marshall Mayer Reed. He'll be speaking. And then 4:05, a really good band, Gator Boys.
Oh, I love them.
Yeah.
They've been playing out at Sand Hill lately.
Yeah, yep. And then 4:35, we got Katie Parker. She's a sophomore at Schoolcraft. Really good athlete. Going to Western Michigan, play softball. She'll be there to speak. And then 4:45, it's my son's he's got a gospel rap group, God's Army. And it's him and the starting tight end for Western Michigan, Odell Miller. And then 5:05, we got John Hoadley. He's the state representative out of Kalamazoo. They've also endorsed this and put it on their social media and stuff, and it's really been helpful. And then Erica Sherry Band's at 5:15. And then 5:45 is Terry Adam from the Detroit Pistons. They've done a lot, sent signed jerseys, Stanley Johnson, Bobby Jackson, and Andre Drummond signed jerseys and signed basketballs and 4 tickets. So that's really awesome. And then 5:55 is a new band that we put together, which I'm in this as well, called Stacked. And it's got members from all over different bands, Martilla Sanders, some of the Chameleon guys, myself. So that'll be fun. And then I'm speaking at 6:25. And then my brother's band from Detroit, the Gail Brannon Project, they'll be there at 6:35. And he's actually got some members from Britney Spears' band that's in his band.
Oh, wow.
So they'll be pretty good. And then Jordan Taylor's my son. He's speaking at 7. And Odell Miller, the WMU football player, he's speaking right after Jordan. And then at 7:25, Black Sea Burial, really good band. And then Chameleons at 8 o'clock, which everybody should know who Chameleon is.
Here's what they sound like.
Yeah. Oh, you got something from Chameleon?
I got a little bit of their video online.
Oh, okay.
So they will be rocking.
Oh, yeah.
Boy, you've got quite the network of people here that you're bringing in for this event. What are you hoping that people will do? I mean, do you want them to donate? Do you just want them to come out in numbers? What's your biggest hope?
We're doing donations at the door, and obviously we're going to have lots of different people selling things, and we're going to be raffling stuff. My mom's candle company, Iron Kettle, candles. She's donating a bunch of candles, and all the proceeds are going to this, which all the proceeds for this particular event are going to the victims' families in the Florida shooting. So in future events, I plan on doing more local stuff, but this is something I wanted to do. So,
well, thanks for coming in, Jeff, and filling us in on what you've got planned. Again, it's this Sunday, March 25th, 1 to 9 at Back Road Saloon, corner of Michigan Avenue and I-69, just west of Marshall. 13 bands. They're going to be raffling off jerseys signed by the Pistons and other memorabilia, and a lot of speakers, all ages, from very young people, Mayor Jack Reed of Marshall, and state representatives. And, of course, a lot of bands will be out there playing anything from rock to blues and everything in between. Jeff, thanks again for organizing this and telling us about it.
Okay, and one thing, it's very kid-friendly. Please bring, it doesn't matter the age, we have Fabtabulous Faces going to be there with a booth painting faces for $5 a face, and it's not just your average stuff. I mean, she's really, really good. So, definitely, all ages.
Yep. Definitely a family-friendly event with lots of parking right there.
Yes.
At what used to be the Mac Center, called Back Road Saloon. Mm-hmm. Jeff Taylor, thanks. Hope you have a great event.
Thank you very much.